Agribusiness and Agricultural Economics. Table of Content. Introduction. Chapter 1. Introduction to Agribusiness and Agricultural Economics. Chapter 2. History and Evolution of Agriculture. Chapter 3. Agricultural Production Systems. Chapter 4. Agricultural Markets and Price Formation. Chapter 5. Farm Management and Decision-Making. Chapter 6. Agricultural Finance and Credit Systems. Chapter 7. Agricultural Policy and Government Intervention. Chapter 8. Agribusiness Supply Chains and Logistics. Chapter 9. International Agricultural Trade and Globalization. Chapter 10. Agricultural Marketing and Consumer Behavior. Chapter 11. Agribusiness Management and Entrepreneurship. Chapter 12. Food Security, Nutrition, and Sustainable Agriculture. Chapter 13. Climate Change and Resilience in Agriculture. Chapter 14. Agricultural Technology and Innovation. Chapter 15. Supply Chain Finance and Risk Management in Agribusiness. Chapter 16. Agribusiness Sustainability and Corporate Social Responsibility, CSR. Chapter 17. Agribusiness Data Analytics and Decision-Making. Chapter 18. Agribusiness Policy and Institutional Frameworks. Chapter 19. Agribusiness Ethics and Governance. Chapter 20. Future Trends and Opportunities in Agribusiness. Introduction. Agriculture is more than just a means of producing food. It is the backbone of human civilization and the foundation of every economy. From the earliest domestication of plants and animals to today's high-tech data-driven farms, agriculture has fueled population growth, trade, and innovation. Yet, modern agribusiness faces unprecedented challenges: feeding a growing population, adapting to climate change, managing finite resources, and ensuring that farmers and rural communities share in the benefits of economic growth. This book, Agribusiness and Agricultural Economics, provides a comprehensive exploration of the forces shaping the agricultural sector today. It blends theory with real-world examples, guiding readers through the fundamental concepts of farm management, production economics, markets, finance, and supply chains, while also addressing pressing issues like sustainability, food security, and ethics. Our journey begins by laying the groundwork, defining agribusiness and agricultural economics, exploring their importance in national and global economies, and understanding the intricate relationship between production, consumption, and trade. From there, we delve into farm-level decision-making, credit and finance, marketing, and supply chain management, showing how each element contributes to value creation. The book also examines the role of policy, governance, and global institutions in shaping the agricultural landscape, as well as the transformative power of technology, from precision agriculture and biotechnology to AI and digital platforms. Special attention is given to sustainability, climate resilience, and corporate social responsibility, recognizing that long-term profitability and environmental stewardship must go hand in hand. Finally, we look toward the future, exploring emerging trends such as regenerative agriculture, alternative proteins, carbon markets, and e-commerce-driven food systems. Throughout, the focus remains on practical applications, offering insights that are valuable to students, researchers, policymakers, agribusiness professionals, and entrepreneurs. Whether you are seeking to understand the economics of farming, design policies that support rural development, or build a business in the food sector, this book equips you with the knowledge and tools needed to navigate the complexities of modern agriculture and seize the opportunities of tomorrow. Chapter 1. Introduction to Agribusiness and Agricultural Economics. 1.1 Overview. Agriculture is one of the oldest and most vital human activities. From the domestication of crops and animals thousands of years ago to today's data-driven farming practices, agriculture has always been central to human survival. But agriculture today is no longer just about farming. It is part of a global, interconnected system of production, processing, distribution, and marketing. This system is known as agribusiness. Agricultural economics, on the other hand, studies how scarce resources, land, labor, capital, and management are used in the production of food and fiber, and how agricultural markets function. Together, agribusiness and agricultural economics shape what we eat, how much we pay for food, and how farmers and agribusiness firms make decisions. 1.2 Defining agribusiness. Agribusiness refers to the business activities performed from farm to table, including input supply, seeds, fertilizers, machinery, pesticides, credit technology. Farm production, growing crops, raising livestock. Processing, turning raw products into consumable goods, e.g., wheat into flour, milk into cheese. Marketing and distribution, transporting, storing, advertising, and selling products. Retail and consumption, supermarkets, restaurants, exports. Example, the wheat value chain. Input stage, farmers buy seeds, fertilizers, and tractors. Production stage, farmers grow wheat. Processing stage, millers turn wheat into flour. Distribution stage, wholesalers and retailers deliver flour to bakeries. Retail stage, consumers buy bread made from that flour. Each step is a business activity, and together they form the agribusiness system. 1.3 Defining agricultural economics. Agricultural economics applies economic principles to agriculture. It answers questions like, what crops should a farmer grow to maximize profit? How will a change in fertilizer prices affect farm income? How do government subsidies influence production? How do global trade policies affect food prices? Example, a farmer's decision problem. Imagine a farmer with 100 hectares of land. They can grow corn or soybeans. Corn yields higher revenue but requires more fertilizer, which has become expensive. Agricultural economics helps the farmer decide whether switching partially or completely to soybeans would maximize profit. 1.4 The importance of agribusiness in the global economy. Agribusiness is not just farming. It is a trillion-dollar global industry that employs millions of people worldwide, contributes significantly to GDP in many countries, provides raw materials for other industries, textiles, biofuels, pharmaceuticals, drives technological innovation, precision farming, biotechnology. Example, agribusiness in emerging economies. In Kenya, agribusiness accounts for over 30% of GDP. Smallholder farmers produce tea, coffee, and horticultural crops that are exported worldwide. Agribusiness supports rural incomes and foreign exchange earnings. 1.5 Key stakeholders in agribusiness. Farmers and producers grow crops and raise animals. Input suppliers provide seeds, fertilizers, machinery. Processors and manufacturers add value by transforming raw products. Distributors and retailers bring products to market. Government and regulators set policies, provide subsidies, ensure food safety. Consumers drive demand through preferences and purchasing power. 1.6 Challenges facing agribusiness today. Climate change alters rainfall, increases drought risk. Population growth increases food demand. Global trade disruptions, supply chain shocks affect prices. Technological gaps. Developing countries may lag in adopting modern tools. Sustainability concerns. Need to balance production with environmental protection. Example, climate risk. In India, unpredictable monsoons can lead to crop failures, reducing farmers' income and raising food prices. Agribusiness firms and governments are investing in drought-resistant seeds and crop insurance to reduce risk. 1.7 Conclusion. Agribusiness and agricultural economics are critical to understanding how food systems work. They connect farm-level production to global markets and help optimize resource use, reduce waste, and ensure food security. As the world faces new challenges, climate change, population growth, and resource scarcity, the role of agribusiness will only grow in importance. In the next chapter, We will explore the history and evolution of agriculture to understand how past innovations have shaped the modern agribusiness system. Chapter 2: History and Evolution of Agriculture. 2.1 Introduction. Understanding the history of agriculture is essential for grasping how modern agribusiness and agricultural economics have developed. Agriculture has undergone several major transformations, each shaped by technological, economic, and social changes. These shifts have influenced production systems, labor requirements, and global trade. 2.2 The Origins of Agriculture. The first agricultural revolution, often called the Neolithic Revolution, began around 10,000 BCE, when humans transitioned from nomadic hunting and gathering to settled farming communities. Key features: domestication of crops. Wheat, barley, rice, maize, and millet were among the first crops cultivated. Domestication of animals. Goats, sheep, cattle, and pigs provided meat, milk, and labor. Permanent settlements. Farming allowed humans to live in one place, leading to villages and early civilizations. Example: the Fertile Crescent, modern-day Iraq, Syria, and Turkey, is considered the cradle of agriculture, where early humans first cultivated wheat and barley. 2.3 The Agricultural Revolutions. The first agricultural revolution, 1000 BCE to 1700s. Shift from hunting-gathering to settled farming. Basic tools, hoes, plows developed. Surpluses allowed for population growth and division of labor. The second agricultural revolution, 1700s to 1900s, coincided with the Industrial Revolution. Innovations: enclosure system, crop rotation, mechanization, seed drills, plows. Productivity increased dramatically, freeing labor for industrial work. The third agricultural revolution, mid-20th century, present. Also known as the Green Revolution. High-yield crop varieties, wheat, rice. Widespread use of synthetic fertilizers and pesticides. Mechanized irrigation systems resulted in massive increases in food production, reducing famine risk in many regions. 2.4 Evolution of Agribusiness Systems. Historically, farming was subsistence-based and localized. As markets developed, agriculture became more commercialized and globally interconnected. Example: coffee. Early production. Ethiopia and Yemen were early coffee producers, supplying nearby regions. Colonial expansion. European powers established coffee plantations in Latin America and Asia. Modern agribusiness. Today, multinational corporations manage global coffee supply chains, from farm sourcing to branding and retail. 2.5 Technological innovations. Mechanization. Tractors, combine harvesters reduce labor needs. Biotechnology. Genetically modified crops improve yields and resistance to pests. Digital farming. Precision agriculture uses GPS, drones, and data analytics to optimize inputs. Example: precision agriculture. A corn farmer uses soil sensors and satellite data to apply fertilizer only where needed, reducing costs and minimizing environmental damage. 2.6 Impact of globalization. Modern agriculture is part of a global system. Inputs, fertilizer, machinery are often imported. Crops are exported worldwide. Price fluctuations in one country can affect farmers elsewhere. Example: global soybean market. When China changes its soybean import policies, farmers in Brazil and the U.S. immediately feel the effects through price changes. 2.7 Lessons from history. Adaptation is key. Farmers who adopted new technologies often prospered. Market access matters. Regions with better infrastructure and trade links grew faster. Innovation drives productivity. Each agricultural revolution was powered by new tools and knowledge. 2.8 Conclusion. The history of agriculture shows a constant evolution, driven by human ingenuity. From the domestication of plants to the rise of digital farming, agriculture has adapted to meet the needs of growing populations. Understanding this evolution helps agribusiness professionals anticipate future challenges and opportunities. In the next chapter, we will explore agricultural production systems, from subsistence farms to industrial-scale agribusiness operations. Chapter 3: Agricultural Production Systems. 3.1 Introduction. Agricultural production systems describe the methods and structures used to produce crops and livestock. They vary widely depending on factors such as climate, available resources, technology, and market demand. Understanding these systems is crucial for analyzing efficiency, sustainability, and profitability. 3.2 Classification of production systems. Production systems can be classified based on scale, purpose, and technology level. Subsistence farming. Definition: production primarily for household consumption, with little or no surplus sold in the market. Characteristics: small farms, manual labor, low input use, limited mechanization. Example: a rural household in Ethiopia growing maize, beans, and vegetables mainly to feed the family. Commercial farming. Definition: production oriented toward the market, aiming to generate profit. Characteristics: larger farms, higher input use, mechanization, reliance on external markets. Example: a U.S. farmer producing thousands of hectares of corn for ethanol production and livestock feed. Mixed farming systems. Definition: combining crop and livestock production to optimize resource use. Example: a European farm growing wheat while raising cattle. Manure from livestock fertilizes crops, and crop residues feed animals. Specialized farming. Definition: focusing on a single commodity for efficiency and economies of scale. Example: a California vineyard producing only grapes for wine. 3.3 Cropping systems. Cropping systems refer to the patterns and sequences of crops grown on a piece of land. Monocropping. Growing the same crop year after year. Advantages: easier mechanization, specialized knowledge. Disadvantages: soil depletion, pest buildup, greater risk from market fluctuations. Example: continuous rice production in irrigated areas of Southeast Asia. Crop rotation. Alternating crops across seasons to maintain soil fertility and reduce pests. Example: rotating maize with legumes to improve nitrogen content in soil. Intercropping. Growing two or more crops simultaneously on the same field. Example: planting maize with beans. Maize provides support for climbing beans. Beans fix nitrogen for maize. 3.4 Livestock production systems. Livestock systems vary based on scale and intensity. Extensive systems, grazing animals over large areas. Low input, e.g. cattle ranching in Brazil. Intensive systems, high-density animal farming, controlled feeding and housing, e.g. poultry broiler houses. Mixed systems, integrating livestock with crops to recycle nutrients. 3.5 Technological levels. Traditional systems, hand tools, animal power, limited external inputs. Semi-modern systems, partial mechanization, improved seed varieties. Modern industrial systems, high mechanization, advanced inputs, fertilizers, pesticides, precision agriculture. Example: precision livestock farming. Sensors monitor cows' health and milk production, allowing farmers to detect disease early and improve yields. 3.6 Sustainability considerations. Sustainable production systems seek to balance productivity with long-term resource conservation. Soil conservation, terracing cover crops, reduce tillage. Water management, efficient irrigation, rainwater harvesting. Biodiversity, maintaining crop diversity to reduce risks. Economic sustainability, ensuring farmers remain profitable while protecting resources. Example: conservation agriculture. Farmers in Brazil adopting no-till farming have reduced soil erosion and increased soil organic matter, leading to higher long-term yields. 3.7 Challenges in production systems. Resource constraints, land and water scarcity. Climate variability, droughts, floods, and unpredictable weather. Input costs, fertilizer, fuel, and machinery price fluctuations. Market volatility. Prices can drop unexpectedly, hurting farmers' incomes. 3.8 Conclusion. Agricultural production systems are diverse and shaped by ecological, economic, and technological factors. Understanding these systems helps agribusiness professionals design interventions that increase productivity, reduce risk, and promote sustainability. In the next chapter, we will analyze agricultural markets and price formation, exploring how supply, demand, and policy influence what farmers earn and what consumers pay. Chapter 4. Agricultural Markets and Price Formation. 4.1 Introduction. Agricultural markets connect producers with consumers by determining what is produced, how it is distributed, and at what price. Understanding agricultural markets and price formation is critical for farmers, agribusiness managers, policymakers, and consumers. 4.2 Types of agricultural markets. Agricultural products move through different types of markets based on scale, form, and participants. Local or village markets. Small-scale informal transactions. Farmers sell directly to nearby consumers. Example: a farmer selling vegetables at a weekly farmers market. Regional wholesale markets. Larger quantities sold to traders, wholesalers, processors. Prices influenced by supply and demand across a wider region. Example: a grain auction where millers buy wheat in bulk. National and international markets. Prices determined by large-scale trade and global competition. Influenced by currency exchange rates, tariffs, and trade policies. Example: global soybean trade between Brazil, the U.S., and China. 4.3 Price formation in agriculture. Agricultural prices are determined by market forces of supply and demand, but also by government interventions, seasonality, and transportation costs. Supply factors. Production levels. Good harvests increase supply and lower prices. Input costs. Higher fertilizer or fuel costs raise production costs, pushing prices higher. Technology. Improved seeds can increase yields and shift supply outward. Demand factors. Population growth. More people mean more demand. Income levels. Higher incomes lead to more demand for meat, dairy, and processed foods. Consumer preferences. Growing interest in organic and sustainably produced food. Example: seasonal price fluctuations. Tomato prices often drop during peak harvest months due to abundant supply and rise during lean periods. 4.4 Market structures. The structure of a market affects how prices are set. Perfect competition. Many buyers and sellers, no single participant can influence price. E.g., local grain markets. Monopoly. One seller controls supply. E.g., a state-run marketing board. Monopsony. One dominant buyer influences prices. E.g., a single sugar mill purchasing cane from farmers. Oligopoly. Few firms control the market, potentially leading to price collusion. E.g., large meatpacking companies. 4.5 Price discovery mechanisms. Spot markets. Immediate delivery, price based on current market conditions. Forward contracts. Agreement to sell buy at a future date at a set price reduces risk. Futures markets. Standardized contracts traded on exchanges to hedge price risk. Example: using futures for risk management. A wheat farmer sells futures contracts to lock in a price before harvest, ensuring stable revenue even if market prices drop later. 4.6 Role of government and policy. Governments often intervene in agricultural markets to stabilize prices, protect farmers, and ensure food security. Price supports. Minimum support price (MSP) schemes guarantee farmers a floor price. Subsidies. Lower costs of inputs like fertilizer or irrigation. Tariffs and trade policies influence competitiveness of imports and exports. Buffer stocks. Governments buy and store grains to prevent shortages. Example: India's MSP system. India announces MSPs for key crops each season, ensuring farmers receive at least a minimum income, regardless of market fluctuations. 4.7 Market Information Systems. Access to timely market information helps farmers make better decisions. Traditional, radio broadcasts, newspapers. Modern, mobile apps, online dashboards showing real-time prices. Example, eChoupal in India. A digital platform providing farmers with crop prices, weather forecasts, and market demand information, improving their bargaining power. 4.8 Challenges in agricultural marketing. Price volatility, weather shocks, global demand swings. Infrastructure gaps, poor roads, inadequate storage lead to post-harvest losses. Market power imbalances. Small farmers often have weak bargaining positions. Information asymmetry. Lack of real-time data leads to exploitation by middlemen. 4.9 Conclusion. Agricultural markets are dynamic systems shaped by supply, demand, policy, and infrastructure. Efficient price formation is critical for farmer profitability and consumer affordability. By improving market information systems, infrastructure, and risk management tools, agribusiness stakeholders can reduce volatility and create more stable food systems. In the next chapter, we will explore farm management and decision-making, focusing on how farmers use economic principles to plan production, manage resources, and maximize profit. Chapter 5. Farm Management and Decision-Making. 5.1 Introduction. Farm management is the science and art of making decisions about the allocation of land, labor, capital, and technology to achieve the farmer's objectives, typically profit maximization, risk reduction, and long-term sustainability. Good decision-making combines technical knowledge with economic analysis. 5.2 The role of the farm manager. The farm manager may be the farmer themselves or a hired professional. Their responsibilities include planning production, organizing labor and resources, supervising day-to-day operations, analyzing financial results, making strategic adjustments to improve profitability. Example: a dairy farm manager decides whether to invest in an automatic milking system based on cost-benefit analysis, labor availability, and expected increase in milk production. 5.3 The decision-making process. Effective farm management follows a structured decision-making process. Identify the problem or goal, increase yield, reduce costs, manage pests. Gather information, soil tests, weather forecasts, market prices. Develop alternatives, different crop choices, fertilizer rates, planting dates. Evaluate alternatives, estimate costs, revenues, risks. Select the best option, choose the most profitable and feasible solution. Implement the plan, allocate resources, supervise labor. Monitor and evaluate, track performance and make adjustments. 5.4 Farm planning. Planning is both short-term, seasonal, and long-term, strategic. Enterprise selection. Choosing which crops or livestock to produce based on market demand, resource availability, land, water, climate and soil conditions, profitability projections, resource allocation, optimizing the use of land, labor, capital, and management effort. Example: enterprise budgeting. A farmer compares net returns from maize, soybeans, and wheat by preparing enterprise budgets that list expected yields, input costs, labor requirements, and selling prices. 5.5 Farm records and accounting. Accurate record-keeping is crucial for tracking performance and making informed decisions. Physical records, crop yields, input use, livestock performance. Financial records, revenues, costs, debts, assets. Production records, labor hours, machinery use, fertilizer application. Example: a poultry farmer uses daily feed intake and weight gain records to detect disease early and adjust rations to maintain profitability. 5.6 Risk and uncertainty in farm management. Farming is inherently risky due to weather, pests, diseases, and market price fluctuations. Types of risk: production risk, yield losses from drought, pests. Market risk, falling prices or unstable demand. Financial risk, rising interest rates, debt obligations. Institutional risk, policy changes, new regulations. Risk management tools. Diversification, grow multiple crops to spread risk. Insurance, crop or livestock insurance to cover losses. Forward contracts, lock in prices before harvest. Liquidity reserves, maintain cash reserves for emergencies. 5.7 Farm Efficiency Analysis. Efficiency measures how well resources are used to produce output. Technical efficiency, producing maximum output with given inputs. Economic efficiency, producing output at minimum cost. Allocative efficiency, using resources in proportions that maximize profit. Example, partial budgeting. A farmer considers switching from conventional to organic production. Partial budgeting compares additional costs, organic certification labor, with additional revenues, premium price, to determine profitability. 5.8 Use of technology in farm management. Modern tools improve decision-making. Farm management software for budgeting and planning. GPS-guided tractors for precision planting. Drones for crop monitoring. Mobile apps for weather forecasts and market prices. Example: a cotton farmer uses satellite imagery to detect water stress early, applying irrigation only where needed, saving water and reducing costs. 5.9 Conclusion. Farm management is about making informed, data-driven decisions that balance profitability, risk, and sustainability. The integration of economic analysis, record-keeping, and technology allows farmers to stay competitive in a rapidly changing agribusiness environment. In the next chapter, we will examine agricultural finance and credit systems, exploring how farmers access capital and manage financial resources to grow their operations. Chapter 6: Agricultural Finance and Credit Systems. 6.1 Introduction. Agricultural finance is the study of how farmers and agribusinesses obtain and manage funds to operate efficiently. Farming is capital-intensive, requiring investments in land, machinery, seeds, fertilizers, labor, and technology. Access to affordable credit enables farmers to adopt new technologies, expand production, and manage risks. 6.2 Importance of agricultural finance. Working capital, purchase of seeds, fertilizers, fuel, and labor. Fixed capital, investment in land, irrigation, machinery, storage facilities. Risk management, funds for insurance premiums and diversification strategies. Adoption of technology, financing for precision farming equipment and improved seed varieties. Example: a farmer takes a short-term loan to buy improved maize seed and fertilizer before planting season, repaying the loan after harvest. 6.3 Types of agricultural credit. Agricultural credit can be classified by purpose, duration, and source. Classification by purpose. Production credit, for seasonal inputs like seeds and fertilizer. Investment credit, for long-term assets like tractors, irrigation systems. Marketing credit, for storing produce to sell later at better prices. Consumption credit, for household needs during lean periods. Classification by duration. Short-term loans, usually less than 1 year, used for inputs. Medium-term loans, 1 to 5 years, used for livestock purchases or machinery. Long-term loans, 5+ years, used for land purchase, irrigation projects. 6.4 Sources of agricultural finance. Institutional sources. Commercial banks offer loans with interest, often require collateral. Cooperative banks, member-owned, provide affordable credit. Microfinance institutions, MFIs, small loans to rural households. Government credit programs, subsidized loans to promote food security. Non-institutional sources. Moneylenders, easily accessible but often charge very high interest. Traders, commission agents, advance credit in exchange for future produce. Friends and relatives, informal loans, usually interest-free. 6.5 Principles of Sound Agricultural Finance. Productivity. Loans should be used for activities that generate income. Repayment capacity. Borrower must have the ability to repay. Security. Collateral should safeguard the lender. Liquidity. Loans should be timed to match the production cycle. Supervision. Credit use should be monitored to ensure effectiveness. Example. A bank provides a loan for installing drip irrigation, with repayment scheduled after the first harvest when the farmer generates revenue. 6.6 Agricultural Credit Problems. Limited access. Smallholders often lack collateral. High interest rates make borrowing expensive. Credit misuse. Funds sometimes diverted to non-productive uses. Over-indebtedness leads to financial distress and farmer suicides in some regions. 6.7 Innovations in Agricultural Finance. Warehouse receipt financing. Farmers use stored crops as collateral to get loans. Value chain financing. Processors or exporters provide credit to farmers within the supply chain. Digital lending platforms. Mobile-based credit scoring and disbursement. Group lending. Microfinance institutions lend to groups, reducing default risk. Example. In Kenya, digital platforms like M-Pesa and M-Shwari allow farmers to borrow small amounts instantly using their mobile phones. 6.8 Agricultural Insurance. Credit is often paired with insurance to reduce risk for both farmers and lenders. Crop insurance compensates for yield losses due to drought, pests, floods. Livestock insurance covers animal death from disease or accidents. Weather index insurance pays out based on rainfall or temperature data. Example. In India, the Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana provides subsidized crop insurance to farmers to protect against weather-related losses. 6.9 Conclusion. Agricultural finance and credit systems are the lifeblood of modern farming. They provide the capital needed to purchase inputs, adopt technology, and expand production. Innovative credit solutions and insurance products can empower farmers, reduce poverty, and increase food security. In the next chapter, we will study agricultural policy and government intervention, examining how policy decisions shape production, trade, and farmer welfare. Chapter 7. Agricultural Policy and Government Intervention. 7.1 Introduction. Agricultural policy refers to the set of laws, regulations, and programs implemented by governments to influence agricultural production, distribution, pricing, trade, and rural development. Because agriculture is vital for food security and livelihoods, most countries actively intervene in the sector to stabilize markets, protect farmers, and ensure consumer welfare. 7.2 Objectives of Agricultural Policy. Food security. Ensure adequate supply of affordable food. Farmer welfare. Improve rural incomes and reduce poverty. Price stability. Prevent extreme price volatility. Sustainable resource use. Encourage environmentally friendly practices. Trade competitiveness. Support exports and manage imports. Rural development. Create jobs and improve infrastructure. 7.3 Key Policy Instruments. Price policies. Minimum support prices (MSP) guarantee farmers a floor price. Procurement prices. Government purchases grain for buffer stocks. Consumer price controls. Keep food affordable for vulnerable populations. Example. India's MSP program ensures farmers receive a minimum price for wheat and rice, regardless of market conditions. Input subsidies. Fertilizer subsidies reduce cost of production. Electricity water subsidies encourage irrigation use. Seed subsidies promote adoption of high-yield varieties. Trade policies. Export incentives encourage surplus exports. Import tariffs quotas protect domestic farmers from cheap imports. Sanitary and phytosanitary standards ensure safe food trade. Credit and finance policies. Low-interest loans and credit guarantees for farmers. Debt relief programs during droughts or disasters. Research and extension policies. Public funding for agricultural research. Extension services to transfer knowledge to farmers. 7.4 Role of government institutions. Ministries of Agriculture formulate policies and programs. Marketing boards regulate trade in commodities. Rural development agencies improve infrastructure like roads, markets. Regulatory agencies ensure food safety, quality, and environmental compliance. Example: the United States Department of Agriculture, USDA, supports farmers through subsidies, crop insurance, and rural development programs. 7.5 Policy impact on farmers and consumers. Positive impacts: higher incomes, stable prices, technology adoption. Negative impacts: market distortions, overproduction, fiscal burden on governments. Example: excessive fertilizer subsidies may lead to overuse, causing soil degradation and water pollution. 7.6 Global perspective. Agricultural policy varies by region. Developed countries, heavy subsidies and crop insurance programs, e.g. EU's Common Agricultural Policy. Developing countries focus on food security, rural employment, and poverty reduction. International organizations, WTO, FAO influence trade rules and promote fair practices. 7.7 Emerging policy trends. Climate-smart agriculture, incentives for sustainable practices. Digital agriculture policies, support for ICT adoption. Nutrition-sensitive policies, promoting healthy diets and diversification. Public-private partnerships, PPPs, collaboration in infrastructure, research, and value chain development. 7.8 Challenges in policy implementation. Leakages and inefficiency. Benefits often fail to reach intended farmers. Political influence. Populist measures may distort markets. Fiscal burden. High subsidies strain government budgets. Global trade pressures. Policies must comply with international agreements. 7.9 Conclusion. Agricultural policy and government intervention shape how food is produced, priced, and consumed. Well-designed policies can improve farmer incomes, stabilize markets, and protect the environment, while poorly designed interventions can create inefficiencies. Future policy must balance economic growth, sustainability, and global competitiveness. In the next chapter, we will explore agribusiness supply chains and logistics, analyzing how food moves from farms to consumers efficiently and safely. Chapter 8: Agribusiness Supply Chains and Logistics. 8.1 Introduction. Agribusiness supply chains encompass the entire journey of agricultural products, from input suppliers to farmers, processors, distributors, retailers, and finally to consumers. Efficient supply chains are crucial for reducing costs, minimizing losses, and ensuring timely delivery of safe and nutritious food. 8.2 Components of an agribusiness supply chain. Input supply: seeds, fertilizers, pesticides, machinery, and credit. Production: farm-level activities including planting, harvesting, and animal rearing. Post-harvest handling: cleaning, grading, storage. Processing: converting raw products into consumable goods. Distribution: transport and logistics. Marketing and retail: wholesalers, retailers, supermarkets. Consumption: end users purchasing and consuming the product. Example: milk supply chain. Farmer produces raw milk. Milk is chilled and transported to a processing plant. Pasteurized milk and dairy products are distributed to retailers. Consumers purchase milk from stores. 8.3 Importance of supply chain management, SCM. Cost reduction: efficient transport and storage lower costs. Quality maintenance: proper handling preserves freshness. Market access: better linkages connect farmers to profitable markets. Risk reduction: reduces losses from spoilage or delays. 8.4 Logistics in agribusiness. Logistics refers to planning, implementing, and controlling the flow of goods from point of origin to point of consumption. Key functions: transportation, trucks, railways, ships, cold chains. Warehousing, storage facilities for grain, cold storage for perishables. Inventory management, balancing supply with demand. Packaging, protecting products during transit. Example, cold chain logistics. Perishable products like strawberries require refrigerated trucks and storage facilities to maintain freshness from farm to supermarket. 8.5 Supply chain coordination. Coordination ensures that all players work together effectively. Vertical coordination, contracts or integration between farmers, processors, and retailers. Horizontal coordination, farmer cooperatives pooling resources to reduce costs. Example: a poultry integrator provides chicks, feed, and veterinary care to farmers under contract and buys back the grown birds at an agreed price. 8.6 Technology in agribusiness supply chains. ICT platforms provide price data, connect buyers and sellers. Blockchain ensures traceability and food safety. IoT devices monitor temperature and humidity in storage. Drones and sensors track crop health for timely harvest decisions. Example: a coffee company uses blockchain to trace beans from farm to cup, assuring consumers of ethical sourcing. 8.7 Challenges in agribusiness supply chains. Infrastructure gaps, poor roads, inadequate cold storage. Post-harvest losses, up to 30% of produce wasted in some regions. Price volatility, difficult to plan logistics when demand fluctuates. Coordination problems, fragmented smallholder systems. 8.8 Strategies for improving supply chains. Invest in rural infrastructure, road storage. Develop farmer cooperatives and producer organizations. Promote contract farming and vertical integration. Leverage technology for demand forecasting and inventory management. Encourage public-private partnerships for logistics development. Example: Kenya's horticulture sector developed efficient cold chain systems, allowing fresh flowers and vegetables to be exported to Europe within 48 hours of harvest. 8.9 Conclusion. Efficient supply chain and logistics systems are essential for ensuring that agricultural products reach consumers safely, quickly, and cost-effectively. Modern supply chain management integrates technology, infrastructure, and collaboration among stakeholders. In the next chapter, we will study international agricultural trade and globalization, analyzing how global markets, trade agreements, and value chains impact agribusiness profitability and food security. Chapter 9: International Agricultural Trade and Globalization. 9.1 Introduction. Agriculture is no longer a purely local activity. It is deeply embedded in the global economy. International trade allows countries to specialize in crops they produce efficiently, access products they cannot grow domestically, and stabilize food supply during shortages. Globalization has expanded markets, but also introduced new risks and dependencies. 9.2 Importance of international agricultural trade. Food security. Imports help meet domestic demand during shortages. Income generation. Exports provide foreign exchange earnings. Efficiency gains. Comparative advantage leads to lower global food prices. Diversity. Consumers access a wider range of foods, e.g., tropical fruits in temperate countries. Example: Brazil exports soybeans to China, earning billions in revenue and supporting rural employment. 9.3 Theories of agricultural trade. Comparative advantage. Countries should produce and export goods they can make at lower opportunity cost and import goods that are costly to produce domestically. Example: Kenya focuses on tea and horticulture exports because of favorable climate and low labor costs, importing wheat instead of producing it inefficiently. Heckscher-Ohlin model. Trade patterns are determined by relative factor endowments. Countries export goods that use their abundant resources. New trade theory emphasizes economies of scale and product differentiation, explaining why similar countries trade with each other. 9.4 Major agricultural commodities in trade. Crops: wheat, corn, rice, soybeans, coffee, cocoa, cotton. Livestock products: meat, dairy, leather. Processed foods: oils, sugar, packaged products. 9.5 Global trade organizations and agreements. World Trade Organization (WTO) sets global trade rules, reduces barriers. FAO and UNCTAD support developing countries in trade capacity. Regional trade agreements: NAFTA, USMCA, EU Common Market, African Continental Free Trade Area. Example: under the USMCA agreement, U.S. dairy producers gained expanded access to Canadian markets. 9.6 Barriers to agricultural trade. Tariffs and quotas restrict imports. Sanitary and phytosanitary (SPS) measures ensure food safety but can act as hidden barriers. Export restrictions: some countries ban exports during domestic shortages. Subsidies distort competition by making domestic products artificially cheap. Example: during the 2007-08 food crisis, several countries restricted rice exports, causing global price spikes. 9.7 Impacts of globalization on agriculture. Positive impacts: market expansion and higher farm incomes. Technology and knowledge transfer. Increased investment in agribusiness infrastructure. Negative impacts: vulnerability to global price shocks. Pressure on small farmers to compete internationally. Risk of monoculture and biodiversity loss. 9.8 Emerging trends in global agricultural trade. Rise of developing countries: Asia and Africa becoming major exporters and consumers. E-commerce and digital platforms, connecting farmers directly with global buyers. Sustainability standards, growing demand for fair trade, organic and carbon-neutral products. Geopolitical risks, trade wars, sanctions, and conflicts disrupting supply chains. 9.9 Case study: the global coffee market. Produced mainly in Brazil, Vietnam, and Colombia. Processed and branded largely in Europe and North America. Price volatility, driven by weather, pests, and speculative trading. Growing demand for certified sustainable coffee, fair trade, Rainforest Alliance. 9.10 Conclusion. International trade and globalization have transformed agriculture, creating opportunities for growth and efficiency while introducing new risks. Successful agribusinesses must adapt to global market signals, comply with trade standards, and hedge against volatility. In the next chapter, we will examine agricultural marketing and consumer behavior, focusing on how agribusinesses create value, build brands, and respond to changing consumer preferences. Chapter 10: Agricultural Marketing and Consumer Behavior. 10.1 Introduction. Agricultural marketing is the process of moving agricultural products from farms to consumers, including all activities involved in planning, pricing, promoting, and distributing goods. Understanding consumer behavior, how people choose, buy, and use food products, is critical for agribusiness success. 10.2 Functions of agricultural marketing. Marketing activities can be divided into several key functions. Exchange functions, buying and selling of products. Physical functions, transportation, storage, processing. Facilitating functions, financing, market intelligence, risk management, standardization. Example: a cooperative collects milk from farmers, processes it into cheese, and sells it under a brand name in supermarkets. 10.3 The marketing mix, 4 Ps. Agribusiness firms use the marketing mix to create and deliver value. Product, quality, variety, packaging, branding. Price, competitive pricing, discounts, value perception. Place, channels of distribution, direct-to-consumer, retailers, online. Promotion, advertising, sales promotions, social media marketing. Example: an organic farm uses eco-friendly packaging product, charges a premium price, sells through farmers markets and online stores, place, and promotes on Instagram promotion. 10.4 Agricultural Value Addition. Value addition increases the worth of raw agricultural products by processing or branding. Primary processing, cleaning, grading, milling. Secondary processing, turning wheat into bread, milk into yogurt. Branding, creating recognition and consumer trust. Example: a smallholder farmer producing raw honey collaborates with a local business to bottle, label, and market it as a premium organic product. 10.5 Consumer Behavior in Agriculture. Understanding consumer preferences helps agribusinesses meet demand. Key factors influencing consumer behavior. Price sensitivity. Consumers balance cost and quality. Health and nutrition. Growing demand for healthy organic plant-based foods. Convenience. Ready-to-eat and quick-to-cook products are increasingly popular. Ethical concerns. Preference for sustainably produced fair trade goods. Example: a rise in vegan diets has driven demand for plant-based meat alternatives, creating new markets for soybean producers. 10.6 Market segmentation and targeting. Agribusinesses divide consumers into segments based on demographics, income, preferences, and buying habits. Geographic segmentation, targeting urban versus rural markets. Demographic segmentation, age, income, family size. Psychographic segmentation, lifestyle, attitudes, values. Example: premium wine brands target high-income urban professionals, while budget wines cater to price-sensitive buyers. 10.7 Distribution channels. Direct marketing, farmers markets, farm gate sales, e-commerce. Indirect marketing, wholesalers, retailers, supermarkets. Contract farming, linking farmers to processors or exporters. Example: a mango farmer partners with an online grocery platform to sell directly to consumers, bypassing middlemen. 10.8 Trends in agricultural marketing. Digital marketing, use of social media, websites, influencer campaigns. E-commerce platforms, Amazon Fresh, Alibaba connecting farmers and consumers. Traceability, QR codes allowing consumers to trace product origin. Customization, personalized meal kits and subscription boxes. 10.9 Challenges in agricultural marketing. Price volatility makes it difficult to set consistent prices. Infrastructure limitations, poor storage and transport. Market power imbalances, small farmers face weaker bargaining positions. Changing consumer preferences, rapid shifts require constant innovation. 10.10 Conclusion. Agricultural marketing and consumer behavior are central to agribusiness success. By understanding market functions, consumer preferences, and emerging trends, agribusiness firms can create value, build brands, and develop lasting relationships with their customers. In the next chapter, we will explore agribusiness management and entrepreneurship, focusing on building and growing successful agribusiness ventures. Chapter 11. Agribusiness Management and Entrepreneurship. 11.1 Introduction. Agribusiness management involves planning, organizing, and controlling resources to achieve business objectives in the agricultural sector. Entrepreneurship focuses on identifying opportunities, innovating, and building profitable ventures. Together, they drive growth, efficiency, and competitiveness in the global food system. 11.2 Principles of Agribusiness Management. Planning, setting objectives and designing strategies. Organizing, allocating resources and assigning roles. Directing, leading teams and motivating employees. Controlling, monitoring performance and correcting deviations. Example: a dairy company sets annual production targets, planning, organizes milk collection routes, organizing, trains employees, directing, and tracks production efficiency, controlling. 11.3 Entrepreneurial Opportunities in Agribusiness. Input supply, seed, fertilizer, machinery distribution. Production, niche crops, livestock, aquaculture. Processing, value-added food products, organic brands. Logistics, cold storage, transport services. Retail, farmers markets, e-commerce platforms. Agri-tech, precision farming tools, mobile apps, blockchain traceability. Example: an entrepreneur launches a mobile app that connects small farmers to urban consumers, cutting out intermediaries and offering fresh produce at fair prices. 11.4 Business planning for agribusiness. A strong business plan is critical for attracting investors and guiding growth. Key components: executive summary, business overview. Market analysis, target market, competitors, trends. Operational plan, production, supply chain, logistics. Marketing plan, branding, pricing, promotion. Financial plan, revenue projections, cost estimates, break-even analysis. 11.5 Financial management in agribusiness. Budgeting, estimating revenues and expenses. Cash flow management, ensuring liquidity during seasonal cycles. Investment analysis, calculating ROI on equipment or expansion. Cost control, tracking input costs and minimizing waste. Example: a poultry business uses cash flow projections to ensure it has funds to buy feed before birds are sold. 11.6 Human resource management. Agribusiness relies on skilled labor, from farm workers to managers. Recruitment and training, hiring skilled employees, providing technical training. Motivation and retention, incentives, profit sharing. Labor relations, ensuring fair wages and working conditions. 11.7 Risk and uncertainty in agribusiness. Agribusinesses face production, market, financial, and institutional risks. Strategies to mitigate risk. Diversification of products and markets. Crop and livestock insurance. Hedging price risk using futures contracts. Building strategic partnerships. 11.8 Innovation and technology in agribusiness. Innovation is a key driver of competitiveness. Precision agriculture, drones, IoT, data analytics. Biotechnology, improved seed varieties, animal genetics. Digital platforms, e-commerce, supply chain tracking. Automation, robotics in harvesting and processing. Example: a greenhouse farm adopts climate control systems and hydroponics to grow vegetables year-round, with 50% less water. 11.9 Case study, successful agribusiness entrepreneur. Case: Dr. Verghese Kurian, the father of the White Revolution in India. Organized dairy farmers into cooperatives. Developed India into the world's largest milk producer. Created Amul, a globally recognized dairy brand. 11.10 Conclusion. Effective agribusiness management and entrepreneurship transform agricultural opportunities into profitable ventures, generating employment, improving food security, and contributing to economic development. Success depends on strategic planning, financial discipline, innovation, and a deep understanding of markets. In the next chapter, we will explore food security, nutrition, and sustainable agriculture, examining how agribusiness can contribute to a healthier and more resilient world. Chapter 12: Food Security, Nutrition, and Sustainable Agriculture. 12.1 Introduction. Food security, nutrition, and sustainability are interlinked global challenges. Ensuring that everyone has reliable access to sufficient, safe, and nutritious food, while preserving natural resources for future generations, is central to agricultural and economic policy. 12.2 The four pillars of food security. Availability, adequate food production and supply. Access, physical and economic ability to obtain food. Utilization, proper diet, safe water, and health conditions for nutrient absorption. Stability, consistency of food supply and access over time. Example: a drought may reduce availability and cause price spikes, affecting access and threatening stability. 12.3 Global food security challenges. Population growth, expected to reach nearly 10 billion by 2050. Climate change, extreme weather events reduce yields, Resource constraints, water scarcity, land degradation. Conflict and displacement, disrupt production and distribution. Food waste, nearly 1/3 of food produced is lost or wasted globally. 12.4 Role of agribusiness in food security. Efficient supply chains, reduce post-harvest losses. Technology adoption, boost productivity and resilience. Fortified foods, address micronutrient deficiencies. Affordable pricing, ensure accessibility for low-income consumers. Example: fortification of wheat flour with iron and folic acid has reduced anemia prevalence in several countries. 12.5 Nutrition-sensitive agriculture. Agriculture must go beyond calories to deliver nutritious diets. Crop diversification, encouraging fruits, vegetables, pulses. Biofortification, breeding crops with higher nutrient content, e.g. vitamin A-rich sweet potatoes. Livestock and aquaculture provide protein micronutrients. 12.6 Sustainable agriculture. Sustainable agriculture ensures productivity while preserving the environment. Key principles: resource efficiency, optimal use of water, fertilizers. Soil health, conservation, tillage, organic matter management. Biodiversity, crop rotations, agroforestry. Climate adaptation, drought-resistant varieties, early warning systems. Example: conservation agriculture in Zambia improved maize yields while reducing soil erosion. 12.7 Global initiatives for food security. 2 Sudanese pounds, zero hunger. End hunger, achieve food security, improve nutrition, and promote sustainable agriculture. FAO programs support smallholders, climate-smart farming. WFP assistance, emergency food aid in crisis regions. Public-private partnerships, collaborations on food fortification, storage infrastructure. 12.8 Role of policy and governance. Safety nets, school feeding programs, targeted subsidies. Trade policy, ensuring stable imports and exports. Investment, research, infrastructure, rural development. 12.9 Consumer awareness and demand. Educated consumers can drive demand for healthier, sustainably produced food. Example: rising demand for organic and locally grown produce has led retailers to expand sustainable sourcing programs. 12.10 Conclusion. Food security and nutrition are core objectives of agricultural systems, but they must be pursued without compromising the planet's future. Sustainable agriculture, innovation, and effective policies are critical to feeding a growing population while reducing inequality and environmental impact. In the next chapter, we will explore climate change and resilience in agriculture, focusing on adaptation strategies, risk mitigation, and opportunities for agribusiness in a changing climate. Chapter 13: Climate Change and Resilience in Agriculture. 13.1 Introduction. Climate change is one of the most significant threats to global agriculture. Rising temperatures, erratic rainfall, and extreme weather events affect crop yields, livestock productivity, and fisheries, challenging global food security. Building climate resilience in agriculture is essential for sustaining livelihoods and ensuring reliable food supply. 13.2 Impacts of climate change on agriculture. Crop yields, heat stress, droughts, and floods reduce productivity. Pests and diseases, warmer climates expand pest ranges. Water scarcity, reduced rainfall and melting glaciers limit irrigation. Soil degradation, increased erosion and nutrient loss. Livestock, heat stress lowers milk production and fertility. Example: the 2022 heat waves in Europe reduced wheat yields, affecting global grain markets. 13.3 Climate Smart Agriculture, CSA. CSA integrates productivity, adaptation, and mitigation goals. Key pillars: sustainable intensification, producing more with fewer resources. Adaptation strategies, drought-resistant seeds, altered planting dates. Mitigation measures, reducing greenhouse gas emissions from farming. Example: Rice farmers in Vietnam adopted alternate wetting and drying irrigation, cutting methane emissions while saving water. 13.4 Risk Assessment and Early Warning Systems. Weather forecasting, short and long-term predictions for farmers. Early warning systems, alerts for droughts, floods, and pests. Climate modeling, helps policymakers design targeted interventions. 13.5 Adaptation strategies. Crop diversification, growing multiple crops to spread risk. Water management, drip irrigation, rainwater harvesting. Agroforestry, trees provide shade, reduce erosion, and sequester carbon. Livestock management, heat-tolerant breeds, improved housing. Example: farmers in Kenya are shifting from maize to sorghum and millet, which are more drought-tolerant. 13.6 Role of technology in building resilience. Remote sensing, monitoring drought conditions. Mobile apps, deliver weather data and best practice advice. Biotechnology, breeding climate-resilient crop varieties. Blockchain, enhancing supply chain transparency during disruptions. 13.7 Policy and institutional support. Climate-resilient infrastructure, irrigation systems, flood control. Insurance schemes, weather-indexed insurance for smallholders. Research and extension, promoting CSA technologies. Carbon markets, incentivizing farmers to adopt low-emission practices. Example: India's Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana, crop insurance scheme, compensates farmers for climate-related yield losses. 13.8 Opportunities for agribusiness. Renewable energy solutions, solar-powered irrigation, biogas units. Climate advisory services, consulting for farms and supply chains. Sustainable inputs, climate-friendly fertilizers, drought-tolerant seeds. Carbon farming, selling carbon credits from sequestration practices. 13.9 Global initiatives. Paris Agreement encourages countries to reduce emissions. CGIAR research develops climate-resilient crop varieties. FAO's CSA framework guides governments and businesses. 13.10 Conclusion. Climate change poses unprecedented risks, but it also offers opportunities for innovation and new business models. By adopting climate-smart practices, leveraging technology, and investing in resilience, agriculture can adapt to changing conditions and contribute to global climate goals. In the next chapter, we will explore agricultural technology and innovation, focusing on digital agriculture, biotechnology, and precision farming tools transforming the sector. Chapter 14. Agricultural Technology and Innovation. 14.1 Introduction. Agriculture has always been shaped by technology, from the plow to precision agriculture. Today, technological innovation is driving unprecedented productivity gains, reducing environmental impact, and transforming how farmers and agribusinesses operate. 14.2 Evolution of agricultural technology. Mechanization. Tractors, harvesters replace manual labor. Green revolution. High-yielding varieties, irrigation, synthetic fertilizers. Biotechnology. GM crops, CRISPR gene editing. Digital agriculture. Sensors, drones, data analytics. 14.3 Precision agriculture. Precision agriculture uses data-driven tools to optimize inputs and maximize yields. Key components: GPS and GIS, map fields, guide machinery. Soil sensors, monitor moisture and nutrient levels. Variable rate technology, VRT, apply inputs precisely. Drones and remote sensing, detect crop stress early. Example: a corn farm uses drones to spot nitrogen deficiencies and applies fertilizer only where needed, cutting costs by 20%. 14.4 Digital platforms and ICT solutions. Mobile apps provide weather forecasts, market prices. Farmer marketplaces connect farmers with buyers. Digital payments enable quick and secure transactions. E-extension services deliver training and best practices. Example: M-Pesa in Kenya allows farmers to receive payments via mobile phones, improving financial inclusion. 14.5 Biotechnology and Genetic Innovations. GM crops, pest-resistant cotton, herbicide-tolerant soybeans. Gene editing. CRISPR creates drought-tolerant varieties. Biofertilizers and biopesticides reduce chemical use. Example: golden rice is biofortified with vitamin A, helping address deficiencies in Asia. 14.6 Automation and Robotics. Robotic harvesters, picking fruits and vegetables. Automated irrigation systems, adjust water based on real-time data. Autonomous tractors, reduce labor needs. 14.7 Artificial Intelligence, AI and Big Data. Predictive Analytics, forecast yields and demand. Image recognition, identify pests and diseases. Supply chain optimization, AI-driven logistics planning. Example: AI-powered crop disease detection apps alert farmers to take early action, reducing losses. 14.8 Sustainable Technologies. Hydroponics and aquaponics, soil-less farming in urban areas. Vertical farming, efficient use of space and water. Renewable energy, solar-powered irrigation, wind energy. 14.9 Barriers to technology adoption. High initial costs, small farmers struggle with affordability. Knowledge gaps, lack of training and technical skills. Infrastructure, limited internet connectivity in rural areas. Solutions: government subsidies and credit support. Farmer training programs. Partnerships with tech companies. 14.10 Conclusion. Agricultural technology and innovation are reshaping global food systems. When combined with supportive policies and accessible financing, these innovations can improve productivity, sustainability, and farmer livelihoods. In the next chapter, we will explore supply chain finance and risk management in agribusiness, highlighting tools to stabilize cash flow and hedge against volatility. Chapter 15: Supply chain finance and risk management in agribusiness. 15.1 Introduction. Agribusiness supply chains are complex, spanning multiple stakeholders from farmers to global retailers. Financing these supply chains and managing their risks are crucial for smooth operations, profitability, and resilience against disruptions. 15.2 Understanding supply chain finance, SCF. Supply chain finance is the set of financial solutions that optimize cash flow across the supply chain. It helps farmers, processors, and distributors get access to timely funds, ensuring continuity of production and trade. Benefits of SCF: improves liquidity for smallholders and suppliers, reduces payment delays, strengthens buyer-supplier relationships. Example: a grain processor offers early payment to farmers at a discount using an SCF platform, reducing farmer dependence on high-interest loans. 15.3 Tools and instruments of supply chain finance. Trade credit. Buyers allow delayed payments to suppliers. Invoice discounting. Suppliers receive early payment from financiers. Factoring. Selling receivables to a third party for immediate cash. Warehouse receipt financing. Loans against stored commodities. Input financing. Suppliers provide seeds, fertilizers on credit until harvest. 15.4 Risk management in agribusiness. Agribusiness faces multiple risks that need proactive management. Key risk categories: production risk, weather, pests, diseases. Market risk, price volatility, demand fluctuations. Financial risk, credit default, interest rate changes. Operational risk, logistics failures, labor shortages. Policy and regulatory risk, changes in tariffs, subsidies. 15.5 Risk mitigation strategies. Diversification, multiple crops, markets, suppliers. Insurance, crop, livestock, and weather index insurance. Hedging, using futures and options to lock in prices. Contracts, forward contracts and contract farming to reduce uncertainty. Inventory management, maintaining buffer stocks to meet demand. Example: a coffee exporter uses futures contracts to hedge against falling global coffee prices. 15.6 Role of technology in SCF and risk management. Digital platforms automate financing and payments. Blockchain increases transparency, reduces fraud. AI and analytics predict price trends and identify risks early. IoT devices monitor crop and storage conditions to prevent losses. Example: a blockchain-enabled system verifies the origin and quality of cocoa beans before financiers release funds to producers. 15.7 Collaboration and partnerships. Strong partnerships among farmers, buyers, banks, and insurers are essential for risk sharing and financial inclusion. Public-private partnerships. Governments, development banks, and private companies co-finance agricultural infrastructure. Cooperatives pool resources for collective bargaining and access to credit. 15.8 Case study: warehouse receipt systems. In Ethiopia, farmers store grain in certified warehouses and receive a receipt that can be used as collateral for bank loans. This system allows farmers to avoid distress sales and wait for better prices. 15.9 Challenges in implementing SCF. Lack of awareness and financial literacy among farmers. Weak legal frameworks for contract enforcement. High transaction costs and collateral requirements. Limited participation of formal financial institutions in rural areas. Solutions. Government policies supporting SCF infrastructure. Capacity building programs for farmers and cooperatives. Digital platforms reducing administrative costs. 15.10 Conclusion. Supply chain finance and risk management are essential for modern agribusinesses. Effective financial tools and risk mitigation strategies ensure stability, improve farmer incomes, and protect businesses from shocks. Collaboration, technology, and supportive policies will continue to strengthen agricultural value chains. In the next chapter, we will cover agribusiness sustainability and corporate social responsibility, CSR, exploring how companies can balance profit with social and environmental impact. Chapter 16: Agribusiness Sustainability and Corporate Social Responsibility, CSR. 16.1 Introduction. Sustainability and CSR have become central themes in modern agribusiness. Companies are expected to not only generate profits, but also protect the environment, support farmers, and contribute positively to society. 16.2 Understanding Sustainability in Agribusiness. Sustainability means meeting present needs without compromising the ability of future generations to meet theirs. In agribusiness, this involves balancing economic viability, environmental stewardship, and social equity. The triple bottom line. People, fair treatment of farmers, workers, and communities. Planet, responsible use of natural resources and reducing environmental harm. Profit, long-term business profitability. 16.3 Environmental sustainability practices. Soil conservation, cover crops, minimum tillage, organic matter management. Water stewardship, efficient irrigation, recycling wastewater. Biodiversity protection, agroforestry, preserving natural habitats. Carbon footprint reduction, renewable energy, reduced chemical use. Example: a tea plantation adopts integrated pest management, IPM, to reduce pesticide use, protecting pollinators and soil health. 16.4 Social responsibility in agribusiness. Fair wages and safe working conditions, protecting farm laborers' rights. Community development, schools, healthcare, clean water projects. Empowerment of smallholders, training, market access, fair trade certification. Example: fair trade certified coffee cooperatives in Latin America provide education and healthcare facilities for member communities. 16.5 Corporate social responsibility, CSR. CSR initiatives go beyond compliance, integrating social and environmental concerns into business strategy. CSR activities in agribusiness. Sponsoring farmer training programs. Supporting reforestation and watershed management. Promoting gender equality and youth participation. Donating food to fight hunger. 16.6 Certifications and standards. Fair trade ensures ethical sourcing and fair prices for farmers. Rainforest Alliance promotes environmental sustainability. ISO 14001 Environmental Management Systems. Global GAP Good Agricultural Practices Certification. Example: chocolate companies source cocoa only from Rainforest Alliance certified farms to meet sustainability goals. 16.7 Measuring Sustainability Impact. Life Cycle Assessment (LCA) measures environmental footprint. Social impact metrics, education, health, income improvements. Sustainability reporting, public disclosure of performance, GRI ESG reports. 16.8 Business benefits of sustainability and CSR. Brand reputation, consumers prefer ethical brands. Market access, retailers demand certified products. Cost savings, efficient resource use lowers costs. Risk management, reduces regulatory and reputational risks. 16.9 Challenges in implementation. Cost barriers, smallholders may lack resources to adopt sustainable practices. Compliance burden, certification processes can be complex. Market incentives, need for price premiums to justify investments. Solutions: public-private partnerships to share costs. Simplified certification processes. Consumer education to drive demand for sustainable products. 16.10 Conclusion. Sustainability and CSR are no longer optional. They are key drivers of competitive advantage. Agribusinesses that invest in ethical sourcing, environmental stewardship, and community well-being are better positioned to thrive in an increasingly conscious marketplace. In the next chapter, we will study agribusiness data analytics and decision-making, exploring how data-driven strategies improve efficiency, forecasting, and profitability. Chapter 17: Agribusiness Data Analytics and Decision-Making. 17.1 Introduction. Data analytics has become a powerful tool in agribusiness, enabling evidence-based decision-making. By leveraging data from farms, markets, and supply chains, agribusinesses can optimize operations, reduce risk, and enhance profitability. 17.2 Importance of data-driven decisions. Improved efficiency, optimizes input usage, water, fertilizer, seeds. Risk reduction, anticipates weather, pests, and market changes. Better forecasting, predicts yields, demand, and price trends. Competitive advantage, identifies market opportunities faster. Example: a dairy processor uses data to forecast milk demand and adjusts procurement accordingly, reducing waste. 17.3 Sources of data in agribusiness. Farm-level data, soil tests, weather stations, IoT sensors. Market data, prices, demand, competitor activities. Supply chain data, inventory levels, transportation status. Financial data, input costs, loan repayments, margins. 17.4 Types of analytics. Descriptive analytics, understands past performance, e.g. historical yield data. Diagnostic analytics, identifies causes of outcomes, e.g. why yields dropped. Predictive analytics, forecasts future scenarios, e.g. price projections. Prescriptive analytics, recommends actions, e.g. optimal planting schedule. Example: a grain trader uses predictive models to forecast global wheat prices and adjusts hedging strategies. 17.5 Tools and technologies. Farm management software, tracks input use and yields. Business intelligence platforms, dashboards and reports for managers. Machine learning models, predict diseases, automate decisions. Blockchain, enhances transparency of supply chain data. 17.6 Data-driven farm management. Precision agriculture, site-specific input application. Yield mapping, identifies high and low productivity zones. Livestock monitoring, sensors track animal health and feeding patterns. 17.7 Market intelligence and pricing decisions. Real-time price monitoring, farmers access current market prices via apps. Demand forecasting, guides production planning. Consumer insights, data on preferences shapes product development. Example: a vegetable exporter uses demand analytics to plan shipments to different countries, reducing spoilage and maximizing revenue. 17.8 Challenges in agribusiness data analytics. Data quality issues, inaccurate or incomplete records. Limited technical skills, farmers and SMEs may lack data literacy. Infrastructure gaps, internet connectivity and power issues. Cost of tools, high upfront investment in technology. Solutions: capacity building programs and training. Public-private partnerships to improve infrastructure. Open access datasets from governments and NGOs. 17.9 Role of decision support systems, DSS. DSS combine data, models, and user interfaces to support decisions. Farm DSS provide recommendations on planting, irrigation, pest control. Business DSS optimize inventory, logistics, pricing. Policy DSS help governments design targeted interventions. 17.10 Conclusion. Data analytics is transforming agribusiness decision-making, offering tools to enhance efficiency, manage risks, and respond to market dynamics. When combined with digital platforms and farmer education, analytics enables a smarter, more resilient agricultural system. In the next chapter, we will explore agribusiness policy and institutional frameworks, analyzing the role of governments, regulations, and institutions in shaping the sector's growth. Chapter 18: Agribusiness Policy and Institutional Frameworks. 18.1 Introduction. Policies and institutions play a crucial role in shaping the growth and development of agribusiness. They create an enabling environment for investment, innovation, and market access, while safeguarding food security, rural livelihoods, and environmental sustainability. 18.2 Importance of policy in agribusiness. Stability. Predictable policies encourage private investment. Equity. Ensures inclusion of smallholders and marginalized groups. Efficiency. Reduces market distortions and transaction costs. Innovation. Supports research and technology adoption. 18.3 Key policy areas affecting agribusiness. Agricultural pricing policy, minimum support prices, MSPs, price stabilization schemes. Trade policy, export incentives, import tariffs, sanitary and phytosanitary standards. Input policy, fertilizer subsidies, seed regulation, irrigation development. Credit and finance policy, rural credit programs, interest rate subsidies. Land policy, land tenure security, consolidation of fragmented holdings. Example: India's MSP system ensures farmers receive a minimum guaranteed price for key crops, reducing price risk. 18.4 Institutional framework for agribusiness. Government ministries, agriculture, trade, rural development. Research institutions, National Agricultural Research Systems, NARS, CGIAR centers. Extension services, provide training and technical advice to farmers. Marketing boards and cooperatives, support collective marketing and bargaining. Regulatory authorities, ensure food safety and quality standards. 18.5 Public-private partnerships, PPPs. PPPs leverage private sector efficiency and public sector support to improve infrastructure, research, and market linkages. Example: a PPP in Kenya developed irrigation infrastructure and provided training, enabling smallholders to grow high-value horticultural crops for export. 18.6 Role of international organizations. FAO provides policy guidance and technical support. World Bank and IFAD finance rural development projects. WTO oversees global agricultural trade rules. Regional bodies. African Union, ASEAN, EU set regional agricultural agendas. 18.7 Policy challenges. Fragmentation. Overlapping regulations create inefficiencies. Implementation gaps. Policies may not reach intended beneficiaries. Political interference. Short-term populist measures distort markets. Global volatility. Trade restrictions during crises disrupt supply chains. Solutions. Streamlined regulations and better coordination across ministries. Evidence-based policymaking using data and research. Strengthening institutions for monitoring and evaluation. 18.8 Legal and regulatory frameworks. Food safety laws regulate residues, contaminants, labeling. Environmental regulations manage pesticide use, water pollution. Intellectual property rights, IPR, protect plant breeders and biotech innovations. Example: the EU's Common Agricultural Policy, CAP, provides subsidies but also enforces strict environmental compliance. 18.9 Impact of policy on agribusiness growth. Supportive policies. Attract private investment. Promote technology adoption. Enable integration into global value chains. Conversely, poorly designed policies can discourage production and distort markets. 18.10 Conclusion. Policy and institutional frameworks are the backbone of a thriving agribusiness sector. Effective policies ensure fair markets, access to resources, and sustainable growth. Strengthening institutions and promoting transparent, evidence-based policymaking will help agribusiness meet future challenges. In the next chapter, we will discuss agribusiness ethics and governance, focusing on transparency, accountability, and responsible practices across value chains. Chapter 19. Agribusiness Ethics and Governance. 19.1 Introduction. Ethics and governance are critical in ensuring that agribusinesses operate responsibly, fairly, and transparently. Ethical practices build trust among stakeholders, farmers, consumers, investors, and governments, and strengthen the long-term sustainability of the sector. 19.2 Importance of ethics in agribusiness. Consumer trust. Ethical sourcing and transparent labeling foster loyalty. Farmer welfare. Fair pricing and equitable contracts support livelihoods. Environmental protection. Responsible resource use protects ecosystems. Corporate reputation. Ethical companies attract investors and customers. 19.3 Key ethical issues in agribusiness. Fair trade and pricing, ensuring farmers receive just compensation. Labor practices, preventing exploitation, child labor, unsafe conditions. Animal welfare, humane treatment in livestock production. Food safety, honest labeling, compliance with safety standards. Environmental responsibility, avoiding pollution and biodiversity loss. Example: companies certified under fair trade guarantee minimum prices and community development premiums to farmers. 19.4 Corporate governance in agribusiness. Corporate governance provides the framework for accountability, transparency, and integrity in decision-making. Principles. Accountability. Boards answerable to shareholders and stakeholders. Transparency. Clear communication of financial and operational performance. Compliance. Adherence to laws, regulations, and standards. Responsibility. Balancing profit with social and environmental impact. 19.5 Role of codes of conduct. Many agribusinesses adopt voluntary codes of conduct covering ethical sourcing, anti-corruption policies, labor standards, environmental commitments. Example: global retailers often require suppliers to sign codes of conduct that prohibit forced labor and unsafe working conditions. 19.6 Supply chain transparency and traceability. Consumers increasingly demand to know where and how food is produced. Traceability systems, blockchain and QR codes show product origin. Audits and certifications, third-party verification of ethical claims. Open reporting, public sustainability and CSR reports. Example: seafood companies use blockchain to trace fish from ocean to plate, ensuring legal and sustainable sourcing. 19.7 Anti-corruption and compliance. Corruption in procurement, subsidies, and trade can undermine agribusiness development. Mitigation. Strong internal controls. Whistleblower protection mechanisms. Regular compliance training for employees. 19.8 Ethical marketing practices. Honest advertising and claims. No exploitation of consumer vulnerabilities. Transparent labeling of GM, organic, or fortified products. 19.9 Benefits of strong ethics and governance. Brand loyalty. Consumers prefer responsible companies. Access to capital. Investors favor well-governed firms. Risk mitigation. Reduces legal, regulatory, and reputational risks. Long-term profitability. Ethical practices build sustainable supply chains. 19.10 Conclusion. Ethics and governance are foundational for trust and sustainability in agribusiness. Businesses that embrace ethical practices, transparency, and robust governance frameworks gain competitive advantage and contribute to a fair, responsible, and resilient global food system. In the final chapter, we will explore future trends and opportunities in agribusiness, looking ahead to emerging technologies, markets, and business models that will shape the sector. Chapter 20: Future Trends and Opportunities in Agribusiness. 20.1 Introduction. The future of agribusiness is being shaped by rapid technological, social, and environmental change. From digital agriculture to alternative proteins, the sector is evolving to meet the needs of a growing global population while addressing sustainability challenges. 20.2 Population growth and food demand. Rising demand. Global population projected to reach nearly 10 billion by 2050. Urbanization increases demand for processed and convenience foods. Changing diets. Growing middle class drives higher consumption of meat, dairy, and fresh produce. 20.3 Technological disruption. AI and machine learning. Advanced analytics for predictive farming. Biotechnology. Gene editing for climate-resilient crops. Autonomous machinery. Driverless tractors, robotic harvesters. Blockchain. Full transparency in supply chains. Example: vertical farming startups are producing leafy greens year-round in urban warehouses using AI-controlled lighting and hydroponics. 20.4 Climate smart and regenerative agriculture. Carbon farming. Monetizing carbon sequestration. Regenerative practices. Restoring soil health and biodiversity. Water efficiency. Advanced irrigation and water recycling. Opportunity. Carbon credit markets allow farmers to earn additional revenue while improving soil health. 20.5 Alternative proteins and food innovation. Plant-based proteins, expanding market for meat substitutes. Cultured meat, lab-grown meat gaining regulatory approval. Insect protein, sustainable option for animal feed and human food. 20.6 Digital marketplaces and e-commerce. Direct-to-consumer models, farmers selling online. Agri-fintech platforms, offering credit, insurance, and payment solutions. Data monetization, farmers earning revenue by sharing production data. 20.7 Global trade and emerging markets. South-South trade, growing food trade between developing countries. Niche exports, organic, fair trade, and specialty products. Regional integration, trade agreements opening new markets. 20.8 Consumer preferences and sustainability. Transparency, demand for origin and production information. Ethical sourcing, preference for sustainable and fair trade products. Health and wellness, growth in functional foods, nutraceuticals. 20.9 Challenges and risks. Geopolitical uncertainty, trade wars, supply chain disruptions. Climate risks, more frequent extreme weather events. Inequality, smallholders risk being excluded from high-tech solutions. Solutions. Inclusive innovation models. Policy support for smallholder participation. Investment in rural infrastructure and digital literacy. 20.10 Conclusion. The future of agribusiness is full of promise, driven by innovation, sustainability, and new market opportunities. Businesses that embrace technology, invest in resilience, and prioritize ethical and sustainable practices will thrive in this dynamic landscape. Policymakers, investors, and entrepreneurs must work together to ensure that the transformation benefits all stakeholders, from smallholders to global consumers. Final thoughts. This book has explored the foundations of agribusiness and agricultural economics, from farm management and markets to technology, policy, and sustainability. The future of food systems will depend on our ability to balance productivity with environmental stewardship and social inclusion. With innovation, collaboration, and responsible leadership, agribusiness can play a central role in feeding the world sustainably.